What's up, guys? This is another Naruto CCG deck profile. This is kind of a prototype deck. I found this card a while ago. Wager. It says, target one of your ninjas. Target must be blocked this turn. If the target wins any victory during this turn, you can draw 2 cards. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I was thinking, what's a way to pump a ninja that has to be blocked? And this Chidori came to mind. It gives your ninja +5/+0, and then if it wins a victory or an OV, you give an additional damage to every ninja. So this Sasuke is really good with it because he can use Chidoris without paying their chakra cost. So I just kind of built a deck around that. I thought it'd be cool, kind of like an early game rush deck. You blow out your opponent's early game ninjas and then hope that you have enough pressure throughout the game to finish it off from there. So we'll get into it with the 0-drop ninjas. We have 3 Kakashi Childhood. He basically is played so that on turn 4 I can growth into my 4-drop Sasuke and not have to use my deployment, so I can deploy something else. And he has Sharingan Eye. Next, 3 Kisuke. Hand costs are pretty important in this deck, and he has Fire Lightning. I play Fire and Lightning missions, so he's pretty good, and then also my Jutsu require Fire and Lightning. Next, we have 2 Kushina. She gets you 2 chakra, she has growth, pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have 2 one-ofs. We have 1 Menma and 1 Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba gets you a mission out of the top 5 of your deck, so he's pretty useful. And then Menma reduces your opponent's ninjas with entrance costs of 1 or less that aren't genjutsu by -0, -2. So he's good for that early game, pressuring your opponent, making them smaller so that you're more likely to win an OV if you use your Chidori early game. Next we have 1-drops. We have 3 Sasuke Beyond the Limits. He can use Chidori without paying the chakra cost. So he's good, just like the main card in the deck. Use Chidoris for free. Next we have 3 one-ofs. Kitamaru State 1. State 2 is really good in this deck because of the field control aspect of it, so he's really good to have out. Inkfish, he draws you a card when he comes into play. I just needed another 1-drop and another lightning card, so he's good. Also, you can put him in play by paying chakra rather than deploying. And then we have Shion. She gets rid of any problem ninjas, and you're able to search for her in this deck. So, solid card. She's limited to 1. Next, we have 2-drops. I only have 2. KNS, really good. Draws you a card, limited to 1. And Pakun. So the idea with this is after you blow out your opponent with a Chidori and maybe a Wager, one of your other jutsu, in the early game, you play your Pakun, and then you can negate one of their missions to stop them from getting ahead. Next, we have 3-drops. We have 1 Naruto Uzumaki to go into reinforcements, and he's alright. He gets you a battle reward back. A Sai. So the reason I play this Sai is because if you're on turn 3 and you play him, you pay 2 lightning, and you can move your turn marker up by 1, and he gets a growth coin. So you're on turn 3, deploy Sai, pay 2 lightning, it becomes turn 4, and then you can immediately growth your Kakashi if you have your Kakashi Childhood out. So that's pretty much the reason I play him. And then we have 2 Obitos. He's really good. This deck has Sharingan Jutsu. He can use those, and he's able to negate Jutsu during the EOJ, so that's cool. And then 4-drops, we have 2 Kakashi Boyhood. This is the one that when he attacks, you can move a Chidori from your chakra area or discard to your hand. So he's kind of there to seal the deal for the game. If you use the Chidori early game, get one back, basically have a guaranteed jutsu, and then especially if you have your Sasuke out still, you can just use it for free, and then you can keep doing that when he attacks. And then last 4-drop is Heat On, free ninja every turn, pretty good. Next we got the missions. We play 3 Wager because we really want to see it early, and it's pretty good with the jutsus I have in this deck. You force someone to block and then you are going to get a victory, so you will draw the 2 cards. It's a really fun card. Next, 3 Drifting Clouds. It lets you draw cards, get rid of bad hands. Pretty staple in fire decks. Next we have 2 Make Out Paradise. So this is a card that you can use to search for your Sasuke, your... what's your name? Your Shion, your Menma if you need it to manipulate your opponent's support. And it's pretty good. Next we have 2 monster researches. You play Lightning, so you can play this. It's a really good mission. And then 3-drop missions, 2 Warhawks, draw 4 cards, really good. 1 Shadow of the Leaf, it's a mission negate, and then if you have your Sasuke out, with an entrance cost of 4 or more, you injure 2 of your opponent's ninjas, so you actually can use that in this deck because of one of the cards I have in my extra deck. Last card is Anko's Memory, gets you stuff back from your chakra area that you charged earlier, pretty solid. And then jutsus. We have the 3 of these Chidoris, and then 1 of these just because I wanted another one just in case I don't see any of these, and this one is better late game, so that's why we play those. Next we have 2 Shadow Clone Jutsu. I would play 3 if I had a 3rd one. It's a really good jutsu. You discard as many cards as you want from the top of your deck. The target gets +1/+1, so you're basically guaranteeing that you're going to win a victory or an OV that turn, so it's good with Wager. Next we have 1-ofs, Toad Mouth Trap, Sharingan Eye. I would play 2 Sharingan Eyes, but the Toad Mouth Trap has a lightning symbol, and I do need lightning in this deck, so I decided to just do 1 and 1. Next, Big Bang, limited to 1, cycles, draws cards. Next, Sharingan Kunai, just another Sharingan jutsu that's really solid. It gives a ninja battling against the user a damage. Then if you have Sharingan Eye, it's another damage. Then you bounce it back to your hand. So, pretty solid jutsu. And then a water style water dragon. Your Kakashi is Jonin, and Hidan is also Jonin. And then you have ninjas in your reinforcement deck that are Jonin as well. So that's it for the main deck. Next is the extra deck. 3 of these guys. I play 3 just because I had room. I don't want this card to get sniped. He is really good. Next we have a Naruto Sai and Naruto Shion. Just kind of filler reinforcements that can be useful sometimes. And then Danzo. This is how I'm able to get the second effect of my counter mission, because you sacrifice the Sharingan Eye Ninja to put him into play, and then he gets to sacrifice Ninja's characteristics. So he can become name Sasuke Uchiha, because that's a characteristic. And we have Naruto and Sasuke squad. Name a jutsu when you play him, and then it can be used for free. Pretty cool. Next we have the 1 Hidan. My other Hidans are in my pain deck. I would play 3 in here just to make sure it doesn't get sniped, but good card. Next, Sasuke State 2. Just a Sasuke reinforcement because your Sasuke is turn 1, and if you go into danzo and then later in the game you go into this guy, if the game is somehow not over yet, he's just there just in case. Then we have this Naruto just in case you don't really go into him ever. Sasuke Kakashi squad. This one's actually pretty good. Yeah. And then a Naruto Hokage. Really good card, limited to 1. And last we have the Proxy Sage mode because that card is expensive and I didn't get one when I had the chance. Really good card. So that's it for the deck. Let me know what you guys think about it. I will see you later.